Hello everyone. I have some quite big ideas in my mind, and I made multiple attempts to implement them. So there is like a game tuber, Napier, Micaverse, all these things, and these ideas require some technologies, which some of them already existing, some of them not too much. And one of them is ability to script inside the game. There is a plenty of solutions, like for example Unreal Engine, take the native solution. I think id Software also uses native ones, and Unreal Engine actually polished up this solution and made like a live reload, which is very convenient and very performant. There is another thing, it's Blueprints. There is C# in Unity. Roblox uses Lua, and all of them have some advantages or disadvantages. I am thinking the best approach is currently, it's like what in my understanding is having a virtual machine similar as C#, Unity. With C#, the problem is you kind of locked in C# language, and you can probably with some hacking make to work F# or other languages, but it's kind of C# is first citizen in Unity. So I decided to try to do RISC-V virtual machine, and we have plenty of tooling around this thing, like you can run Clang to compile, and Clang supports C++, C, Objective-C. I think it does support Rust. So it's have quite a list of languages to support, and essentially everything that can generate RISC-V binary code can run. So I was practicing with this stuff and made some small game. It's very engineering looking, so I more was focused on like a technology rather than looks. So excuse the how it looks like, but it's essentially Flappy Bird, and it's like it's very simple. It has score here. You click on the screen, it jumps up, and like if you hit the pipe, it shows like a start over, shows score, and everything freezes, and then you can restart. So let me show how I implemented it. It's like what is my vision to integrate RISC-V inside Unreal Engine. So we have a blueprint, so it's a bird blueprint, right? So then we can open it, and what we need to add a RISC-V VM component to it, and then we have binaries, and binaries are as just normal assets. So I have binary bird, for example. I will show how I'm generating these binaries like in a second, but essentially you attach this bird binary on in here, and then you press play, it's start running. So I need to somehow communicate with the RISC-V VM, and I'm kind of leveraging. I did not figure out like how to invoke functions inside the VM yet. Need to think about this thing, but currently I can from VM query variables, so like a jump, for example, is hit or is game over, score, so like these variables, and I can update them in Blueprint. So for example here, then I press space and click on mouse button, I can update variable jump, and then from VM I can check the variable jump and do things appropriately. Same thing, if overlap happened, I can update variable is hit, make it true, and in the virtual machine do actions accordingly. So this is the way how currently I communicating with VM. So we have bird, we have pipe. So pipe is set up exactly the same way, and we have HUD. So we have HUD, it's this one, and it also has RISC-V, and it has attached a binary to it. This thing I did not implement, but it's you can implement this thing in RISC-V. Currently I did not implement, so I put like blueprints, and it's not too much blueprints, so it's kind of fine, right? So let me show the code. I have a directory which I called vSource, and it has like a subdirectories for each of binaries. So like I have burn, and it's very simple one C++ file. You can have like like multiple files. The build system will figure out it. So and it is straight C++. There is nothing surprising in C++. If you want to communicate with Unreal Engine runtime, you can include lib UE header files and have some functions in it. So one of them is owner, so you can get the owner of your RISC-V component. So because we know it's bird, we called it bird. And then you can also use Unreal Engine reflection system and query more stuff. So for example, you can query mesh, skeletal mesh bird, for example, and if you open here, we have skeletal mesh bird, and because it's scene component, we can cast it to scene component and have scene component methods on the bird mesh. For now, I implemented only scene, and because skeletal mesh is derived from scene component, you can do it like it's normal inheritance stuff. So and then you can query variables. Jump variable is hit, is game over, and this is the variable to track if button jump was pressed, so it will add the speed. So this is the velocity of the bird, and this is the time to track delta time. So and this is just infinite loop, and these important things you have to yield periodically to Unreal Engine. So this is the way how to do this thing. It's actually a standard C++ function, and it works. You do not need to do yield. In this case, it will run, I think, 60,000 CPU instructions and take over VM and return the execution to Unreal Engine. But yeah, so like this is kind of if you want to be nice with the engine. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, it will just use 100% of CPU. So now there is a now function. It's essentially get world, get time seconds. So way shorter, of course, than this thing. And yeah, and this is calculation of delta time, and we just applying 9.8 meters per second acceleration. So this is velocity, and here's it. We checking if jump was pressed, and we adding 150 centimeters per second velocity to the bird. So we can get the location of the bird. So I decided to use like a shorter, because it's easier to type, instead of get actor location. it's too much typing, so this is way shorter. So you get the location, and then we add the updated z coordinate of the location and set it back, set location. So this is how bird is falling down or jumping up. And bird mesh, so we queried bird mesh and can set up the rotation of the bird mesh. As in the setup, you can see camera is actually a root component, and the bird mesh is attached to the camera. So so camera is here and bird is here. So we don't, if we rotate the camera, we would not notice anything, right? So we kind of want to see bird rotating. So we got the bird mesh and applied relative rotation. And here's it. It's kind of fixed version, so it's rotating. This first is x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Instead of like in Unreal Engine, it's y, z, x, which is hard to remember and counterintuitive. So is heat set to true, then overlap happens, and you can do just standard output, and it will print in the logs. So in logs you would see like this. You do not need to do caret return, but you need to flash, so it will push the data back to Unreal Engine. And you set the game over, and in this case it will go here. So this one essentially infinite loop until game over happens. And yeah, this is just a housekeeping. And then there is another thing. It's you can play sound, so you can query audio, died sound. So already it's set up here. Have a name died queue, so queried for died queue, and then play, and it would play. I think I demonstrated. I guess you can now see, understand what's going on. So like then you hit, it made the sound. You did not hear the sound. Like I forgot to. So here we go. So for pipe, it's also quite simple. So yeah, so I updated things. I can recompile, and it goes to Unreal automatically. Because nothing changed, it did not update it. But for example, I don't know what can I do. I can probably demonstrate it like a hello from RISC-V VM, and then do stat flash. So I can recompile, and it will automatically pick the binary, and it should print in logs hello from RISC-V VM, and also it's print hit. Let's go look at the pipe. Pipe is kind of similar. So you've got owner, you've got location, and this is currently way to get randomization. So I know y coordinate is changing for all of these pipes, so I use it to seed the random number generator. So I can query bird. So this is the pawn, and this is actually takes index, so you can put 0, 1, 2 if it's a multiplayer game, right? But like by default it's just returns first pawn, and then you can get variables using again Unreal Engine reflection system. So you can get is game over and score. This is for housekeeping to calculate delta time, again yield, and then you update. You can update pipe location it moves 500 centimeters per second in the left direction. And then if it's crossed 0, we want to update score. So this thing returns var, so like a wrapper around scalar variables, like a normal things. It's like a plus plus, not implemented for them. Probably I can do it, but like currently I have to cast it. So right now is just cast to variable implemented and assignment. So I can get the value, add the value, and assign back. So this is how I can update score. But like I can do it like to implement this logic, and it's just would work, but not yet implemented. And then update variable counted, so I would not count again. And if it goes off the screen, it will jump, the pipe will jump forward and set the counted to as not counted. And then we also in the loop checking if it's game over, so it's taking this variable from bird, from pawn, and if game over happened, there is a 1 second delay, and then this code just makes pipes to fly around, and this probably can make a 2 seconds delay. So if 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and yeah, so after 2 seconds they start flying. And there is a last thing, it's HUD UI. And HUD UI is quite simple. So let's call it like a HUD. So we've got HUD, and then we've got a HUD UI. So in the setup here, I do not know where is the HUD. So blueprint HUD, yeah. So in the setup here, in the construction script, we constructing HUD UI and assigning it to the variable HUD UI. So this is we are querying HUD UI here, and then we can query text block from it. So in the HUD, in the designer, we have text block, and we just query by name, score, and we have to tick this thing to make it work. And then we can set the text. So actually we can remove this thing, right? And then we can get let's call it bird also, so it would be easier to understand what's going on. So we've got the bird, and get the score variable from bird, and then we just update it in the loop, just normally doing set text, and it uses like a stat string. So we just normally doing this thing. So here is it, we need to cast to integer score, because score is wrapped around integer. And yeah, that's it. So I know we can update here, like maybe like this. So just to demonstrate, it's updating in real time. So it's get this thing, and yeah, score looks like this now. So this is I do not know, this is the one of the things what I wanted to do, and the reason is like a final goal to allow user generated content, and in this case it's of course has to be way more much more safe compared to current Unreal Engine approach. And there is another thing. I think it's way faster way to program in C++. The compilation is really fast, especially if you did not change anything. But like even if you changed, it is quite fast. The source code also looks nicer in my opinion, cleaner, less verbose. It uses like a standard C++ libraries, so you do not need to learn different library. You just use standard C++ library and some wrappers. I keep like a naming as simple as possible. It's like, for example, owner. So like this is analog of get owner. So it's, I dropped get, for example. This one is like a, if you I mean, I can show you how it's implemented in Unreal Engine system. So for example, in even here I put like a wrappers, but here is it like a find property by name, and then you've got property and object, and to get the value you need to cast to the type and then do set property value in container. So it's a lot of code which is condensed to this code. So like a set text, I think set text is fine, but it uses f text, and this set text just uses string, stat string, which I think nicer. This is my update. Anyways, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.